This is the Alfa Romeo Giulia Veloce all-wheel drive 2024. And this is a phenomenal car. Had it a little over a year, hit over 10,000 miles, close to 11,000 miles. It's pretty much the exact same as the 2025. Plus, from what I read online, it's pretty much going to be the exact same for 2026. This setup is phenomenal. I'm going to go through it to let you know in terms of issues, because I know Alfa Romeo has had issues in the past in terms of quality and all that stuff. I had zero quality issues with this one. Handles phenomenal. Throttle response is phenomenal as well. This is a 4-cylinder car, so it's a 2.0 liter inline four. It's 280 horsepower, 306 pounds-feet of torque, and 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. And I'm not gonna lie, I pretty much have abused this car quite a bit, like extremely aggressive, right? Safe driver though, still, nonetheless. That you got to be safe 100%, but still nonetheless aggressive. And this car has taken a beating and has had zero issues, which is quite impressive. And I'm constantly getting compliments with this car. The wheels are phenomenal. Like everywhere I go, people are saying literally phenomenal wheels. The red interior is amazing, so I'm going to show you guys the red interior as well. I would highly encourage you to go with this package personally. The Veloce with the wheels, the red calibers, the red interior. I'm going to show you everything with B-rolls and all that stuff. But here's the wheels. You can see the red calibers with the Alfa Romeo writing right there. Nice touch, phenomenal touch. And then the red interior right about here, you can see this red interior is one of the best. The reason I state that is because unfortunately some car companies, their red interior is more of like a red ketchup. Doesn't really blend well sometimes. It's hard to match specifically. It shows it's red, but it's just like you're just getting red for the sake of red. This one's different. This one actually complements the interior, and it's a nice red. It's not a ketchup red. I always get compliments from everybody about this, about the interior, the exterior, the wheels, all stuff. You get 2 USBs in the back, not USB-C though. Heated seats are in the back as well. Plus, the sunroof and moonroof touch is a nice touch. It's really nice, in my opinion. You get the paddle shifters with the Veloce. You get with the European style, the push to start on the wheel right here. I'm going to go through a little bit of the stuff with the DNA and all that stuff with the throttle response as well. But you get aluminum gas and brake pedals. And then it's just a little bit of walk around before we get to the interior, because this exterior is phenomenal, because you almost get like the quadrifoglio look with, not the performance of the quadrifoglio in terms of the V6, but the handling is honestly still there. I've driven quite a few cars, and literally, I have said in my opinion, the handling is really phenomenal. Honestly, even though the car is not light, it feels like it's light, and it handles really well. Grips the ground. It's about 3,700 pounds. 3,700 pounds. But every single time I give the keys to other people, like my friends and family, they underestimate the car. They thought it would be slow because it's a inline four, but then they come back saying, wow, like the handling's phenomenal. The speed and throttle response is there, et cetera, et cetera. Now let's take a look fully in the inside. Again, I'll show probably potentially a B-roll of everything. Now, again, the wheel looks great. The interior is phenomenal. I love the design, how it is. You get Apple CarPlay, all stuff with the infotainment system. And the thing is, though, the only thing I would say, there's a couple of caveats, not caveats, but things that are given with this kind of European car. Some things are not where you typically expect them. So, for example, the trunk. I can show you a little bit later. Actually, I'll show you right now. So the trunk right about here. Typically, the trunk either overhead console or somewhere here, right? But usually, typically overhead console. No, it's not. To open the trunk, you have to press this button right here, which is kind of strange because that's the last place you would expect it, because you really can't see it unless you're aware of it. So might as well show you the trunk at the same time, because there's something else too. These back seats right here, typically, because again, with North America, you're expecting, so like North American cars, you expect to like pull down this and pull them all down. No, you can't. It's actually in the back, if I can remember exactly where it is. Somewhere about, I think, right here. So I don't know if you can see it through the camera. You could, right here. To pull this for this side of the car, this right here for this side of the car, left side of the car for the seats. Like, this is personally, I'm not sure. Maybe the rest of the European cars out there, let me know, comment down below if that's the case. But is it typically in the back to pull the seats down, or is this just for Alfa Romeo in general? Now, by the way, I might as well show you guys why I'm here. The space in the trunk is pretty decent. It's not, you're not expecting you're not getting a massive amount of room, I would say, but it's good enough for like shopping and everything. I haven't had issues in terms of shopping. Yeah, so you got some things that are not typically in the normal spot as like North American cars. And then everything else for the most part, There's pretty good sizes. You got USB-C, you got auxiliary port, then the USB, typical USB, and Apple CarPlay. We're gonna go for a ride. Hopefully you guys could hear everything. I took off the AirPods so that way it's more focused overall sound. And then I'm gonna switch over to dynamic mode, and then I'm gonna go on an on-ramp so that way you could hear more of the pull, right? I'm not gonna speed or anything. There's not speeding or anything. It's just more for the on-ramp. You could hit those speeds if that makes sense. So, but yeah. And then at the same time, if you have any questions, let me know. I did have this car quite some time. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to move this water bottle here. I had a water bottle that's like pretty much rolling all around. But yeah, again, the good thing about this car, honestly, everywhere I go, you'll get looks everywhere. You'll get looks everywhere. The compliments for this car, the interior. Personally, this car, even though it's like $56,000, I think it punches above its weight class because other cars in this category cost way more to look this good, if that makes sense, right? Does that make sense? Like for $56,000, you get this nice red interior, the nice red brakes. The wheels are phenomenal. Like they don't look ugly, right? Like at least for me, they don't look ugly. And then the handling and throttle's there. The only thing is I really wish it was a V6. That's why the quadrifoglio is there. Unfortunately, they don't have the quadrifolios anymore, hypothetically, because in a way, it's like you could still get the 2024s out there that do exist still there, but there's no 2025s and whatever. Who knows when the next ones will come out. But it doesn't have all-wheel drive. That's why the Veloce is a nice touch because you get a lot of stuff in terms of appearance and all that stuff, right? And you get the all-wheel drive with it. And this is not slacking at all. Like in city driving, it still pulls quite a bit. I'm gonna do a small pull. I'm not gonna speed or anything, but I think because the small pulls, the throttle still, you can still hear the throttle. Hopefully it translates to the phone though. I'm not 100% sure, so you might not hear it, but it sounds good in my opinion, especially for an inline four. It's crazy. So you're gonna hear it in a couple seconds. So hopefully you heard that. Again, I can't pull too much, unfortunately, because again, city and all stuff. But I'm pulling up into the on-ramp for the highway, which I could hit higher speed limits at this point, and you'll hear hopefully this. And the pickup is insane. The handling's insane. Like I already hit highway speeds in a matter of seconds, and just again, the handling's so good. Oh my gosh! Like I'm not even exaggerating. Like honestly, I've driven quite a bit of cars, and like in my opinion, like this is like one of the top. Yeah, like oh man, you can spin the back if you want, but you have to push it a little bit. It's kind of hard to spin the back though. It's not easy. It's not easy with the all-wheel drive because this car does come in rear-wheel drive as well. There is without the all-wheel drive package if you want it, but again, phenomenal. I'm gonna do a last pull, and I'm gonna switch over to a clip showing the audio in the rear. Now, like in terms of how it sounds like when you're throttling it. The only thing is though, when you're throttling the car on stationary, I don't necessarily think it sounds phenomenal. Let me know. You guys be the judge of that. But here's one more mini pull. Again, I can only do so much. Yeah, hopefully you guys heard that. It sounds phenomenal. Again, it's inline four. Inline four, you're getting the sound. But again, I don't know if it translates to like for all I know, it's probably not translating through the camera at all. But yeah, it's great. It's great. Like, I don't know if you guys heard that. Like, it's just shifting gears, and it just sounds good. It sounds good. Now, I'm going to cut to the clip where I'm throttling it on park. Again, I don't think it's going to sound that great because I can't remember me throttling it when it's in park and how it sounds. But I don't remember it sounding phenomenal, personally. But I could be wrong. We'll see. Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Again, this is inline four. And the torque is there. Again, 280 horsepower, but it's 306 pound-feet of torque. Another thing I forgot to mention is the brakes are very responsive. Now they're not overly responsive where you have to feel like you're gonna just have an abrupt stop. No, not like that. They almost feel like you're like one with the car, and you could stop exactly how you want to stop. Again, this car has phenomenal handling. I don't know if I said that enough, but it really has really good handling. I'm impressed. The reason why I'm impressed is because for $56,000, you get the appearance of something more, in my opinion. And then at the same time, you get the quickness, the agility, and handling. 55, 56 is really good, really good. Now, I don't know what the prices are for 2025 or 2026. I'm not sure, so I have no idea. But when I got this car, it's a really good deal, in my opinion. Another thing I want to mention is, if you like cars like I do, the thing is, though, sometimes everything is centered around the driver, and that's phenomenal because I'm always the one who's driving anyway. But there's times I do sit in the passenger seat of the cars I do own, and the problem is, if you, for example, in case if you're like interested in figuring out how the person's feel is on the passenger side, and some cars, when it comes to the feel for the passenger side, it's almost like they're secluded, and it's like the automakers did not care the feel of the passenger, of how they feel in the car. And like, for example, nothing to knock on the C8 Corvette, love the car, but that car feels like when you're sitting there next to the driver, it doesn't feel like anything's catered to you at all. Now, that's an extreme example because it is more versed towards the driver, but there's other cars that does the exact same thing, but that's just an extreme example, right? This car, even if you're sitting in the passenger seat, because obviously I sat in the passenger seat, that's how I'm able to state it, is it feels like you're still getting that experience, right? It doesn't feel like the car just completely neglected you as a passenger, and there's no real, for example, artistic interior around you in terms of being immersed in the interior, right? So it's, that aspect is good, if that makes sense to you, right? Like, that is one thing if you're curious about. It's like, okay, I get to drive the car, but does my like family members who are also getting on a ride with me feeling the same essentially interior immersed experience, or are they just basically just gonna get in and we're just transporting and all that stuff? No, they get that same immersion feel. Again, this might be a little bit too much. I like cars a lot, so it might sound like it's like, whoa, that's too much information that nobody really looks into. But that's like what I've noticed too in this car, and I think that's a good plus. Again, phenomenal car for the price range for what you get. But there is 3 modes in this car. There's dynamic, natural, and all-weather. It's called DNA. I'm going to show a picture of it too as well. I'm talking about this, but essentially the dynamic is more aggressive. It's more like the sport mode, and the throttle response is more there. Slash, the suspension's tightened, the wheels tighten, the steering wheel tightens a little bit. The only downfall, it's because it's so aggressive for city driving. It might make it look like you're not a great driver, if that makes sense, because it jerks a little bit because it's holding the gears a little bit longer. But it is a fun drive, personally. Now, with natural, you get less of that, but the throttle response is not quite there. It's still there, but it's just not as aggressive. I typically drive in dynamic, personally, because I'm a little bit more of an aggressive driver. But for natural, it's good. It's more like softer suspension, etc., etc. And I think most people will be happy driving in the natural. Now, for the all-weather one, I'm not a fan of all-weather, personally. I haven't had issues with all-weather at all. It's just, the thing is, though, it brings down the torque. So torque for this car is about 306. It brings it down to roughly about 243 in all-weather. That's just because it wants to have nice handling for the rain and snow. Now, I've driven this car in the winter and in rain, and I've driven it in dynamic, actually, and had 0 issues. Sometimes I might not feel essentially safe just because it's a lot of snow or something like that. I've brought it down to natural just in case, because you don't want the extra throttle response. Because, again, even if you're an aggressive driver, you still want to be safe and all that stuff. So, again, phenomenal handling all around with all the modes. And then the throttle response, you can see heavenly. Like, it's more impactful in the dynamic one. The natural one still, again, has it, but it's just not quite there as much as the dynamic. But it is a little bit it is a softer ride, but the throttle response is a little bit more forgiving, I would say, just because, again, if you're driving people around, it might be a little bit aggressive because it might seem like you're not a great driver because it's shifting gears way too aggressively and downshifting, not necessarily not smoothly. It's just, you could feel those downshifts too as well. So that's it. Here it is how it looks like as a driver, just in case you're curious in terms of the paddle shifters, where they're at in the cluster, the visuals of like the infotainment system. So it's pretty good. Like, it's no obstruction in terms of cluster and all that stuff. And then you can visually see right about here, almost about 11,000 miles as well. Once again, 0 issues, phenomenal car. Love how it is. Love the stop start right here as well. So that's nice. Yeah, and the paddle shifters are very, very responsive, by the way, in case if somebody's curious about that as well. The last thing I want to mention is that the audio system in this car is good. I do have the Harman system, though.